Hello, I'm going to share a story with you today, and I think it's probably one of my favourite stories ever. It's this one here. It's by a man called Nick Butterworth, and it's a story called Albert Leblanc. And Leblanc is French, meaning Albert the White. Let's start here. From the front, Albert Leblanc looks very sad indeed. He has the saddest eyes you ever saw, which is strange because Albert Leblanc... But wait, let me tell you the story from the very beginning. When Albert Leblanc first appeared, sitting all by himself in Mr. Jolly's toy shop, the other toys could only stare. He looked so sad. "Poor love," said Sally the hippo. "We must try and cheer him up." Can you see the other toys? "You could do your funny dancing," said Toby the cat. "You could make him laugh." "My dancing is not funny," said Sally. "It's beautiful and artistic." The other toys looked at each other and tried not to smile. "I know a joke," said Little Mouse Pickle, "but I can't remember the funny bit at the end." Everyone agreed that this could make the joke a lot less funny, and it might even make it not funny at all. Pickle flopped down and stared at the floor. See. It was then that Jack in the Box, who at the moment was not in his box, had an idea. "Why don't we all try very hard to think of something happy and funny, something to cheer up a very sad bear? Then we could all put our things together and make a show." It was a good idea. Everyone thought so. At first, the toys sat quietly thinking, what could they say? What could they do? Something happy, something funny. Maurice, the steam engine, let out a little shh as he tried to think, and Lizzie, the humming top, hummed to herself as she thought, hum. There's Jack in the Box. "I've remembered my joke, squeaked Pickle suddenly. "Shh, dear," said Sally. "I'm getting an idea." All at once it seemed that the other toys were getting ideas too. Toby began to snigger, and Jack in the Box started to chuckle, and Sally began to titter, and went off to borrow a hat and to find some face paints. Albert Leblanc did not have to wait very long to find out. Sally was the first to introduce herself. "Good evening," she said with a bow. "I am Sally the hippopotamus and a ballerina. This evening we, the toys of Mr. Jolly's toy shop, will present a happy and entertaining treat, especially to cheer, amuse and tickle the funny bone of a very sad bear." Albert Leblanc looked puzzled. "I'm very pleased to meet you," he said. "My name is Albert Leblanc, and I'm from France, but please let me say, you must not think that I am..." But Albert Leblanc wasn't allowed to speak. Oh my goodness. "Silence, please, for Miss Pickle," the hippopotamus boomed loudly. Pickle came and stood nervously in front of the large, sad-looking bear. She shuffled her feet and cleared her throat. But no words came. Whatever Pickle had remembered earlier, she had suddenly forgotten again. "I can't remember my joke," she said, and she flopped down again and stared at the floor. "Never mind," said Albert Leblanc kindly. "I'm sure it was very funny, and you really must not think that I am..." Oh, there's that Jack in the Box again. But at that moment, with a twang and a zing, Jack in the Box sprang out of his box and bounced up and down in front of Albert. And as he did, he sang, "I bounce with a boing, I bounce with a poing, and while I am bouncing, I'm singing this sawing." "Be careful, dear," said Sally. But Jack was enjoying himself. He bounced even higher. I like to bounce high as the sky. Sometimes when I'm bouncing, I'm sure I could fly. Thump. Oh dear. Poor Jack. He bounced so high he bumped his head on a shelf, and he fell in a tangled heap in front of Albert LeBlanc. Slight problem, muttered Jack as he tried to untie the knot which he'd accidentally tied in his long body. Albert hid his face in his paws. Please don't worry, he said. I'm really don't want you to think that I am... Oh, here she comes, look. Once again, Sally did not let him finish. To Albert's amazement, she leapt out onto the stage with a pointed hat and wearing a big red face painted on her smile. Of course, Sally did mean to be funny, but she didn't mean to slip or to slide, and she most certainly didn't mean to crash into Albert LeBlanc. But that is just what happened. Together, the bear and the hippopotamus landed in a confused heap from underneath. Sadly, Albert LeBlanc let out a great roar. Police! He shouted. I keep trying to tell you, I am not unhappy. Silence as Sally and Albert struggled to get up. Albert went on, I'm not at all sad. It's just the way I was made. I just happen to have a sad look on my face. Oh, no, you don't, interrupted Toby the cat. Not any more. Suddenly, everyone saw that Albert LeBlanc was wearing a great, big, red smile. It was Sally's smile. The toys began to giggle. Oh, silly me, said Sally. I'm so sorry. I must have kissed you by mistake. The toys giggled even more, and some of them laughed out loud. But now what was happening? What was happening to Albert LeBlanc? He began to shake, and he grabbed hold of his tummy. His shoulders started to heave up and down, and his nose wrinkled up, and his sad eyes almost disappeared. And then, to everyone's great surprise, Albert LeBlanc roared out the funniest and loudest laugh any of the toys had ever heard. Albert's enormous laugh made everyone else laugh as well. At last, Jack-in-a-Box managed to speak. Well, he giggled, who would have thought that that little kiss could put such a big smile on someone's face? Everyone laughed again, but the biggest, deepest, loudest and funniest laugh of all came from a sad-looking bear called Albert LeBlanc. Hope you enjoyed it too.